Welcome to yet another video on YouTube. In a previous video, I attacked Dawkins' phony logic and his claim that religion causes people to do bad things. Now I will build an argument for the exact opposite of this position. I will argue that belief in God causes people to do good things and that atheism cannot. First, I must again make clear that I am talking about the Christian God, who is a good and righteous judge. I must also again explain the true meaning of the word belief. It does not mean I reckon he exists, nor is it a mental assent to a set of theories and statements. I'll illustrate it by this. If I were to say, I believe in this man here, say a political figure or a superior officer, I would not be saying, I think he exists. We can all see that plain as you like. I would be saying, I think he is a good man, what he says is true, and I will follow him and serve him. I will fight for him, I give him my loyalty. So it is with God. I do not just reckon he exists, but believe what he says and love his righteousness. So here is my first argument. 1. I believe in God. 2. Because of this, I desire to please him. 3. Good works in his name please him. 4. Therefore, I will do good works. That follows that logic. You go from being a Christian, believing in God, to doing good things. How about this? 1. I believe in God and fear his judgment. 2. His wrath falls on those who disobey him. 3. He commands good works. 4. Therefore I will obey him and do good works. This argument, though solid logically, is not generally the reason a Christian does good things. It is more in line with the first argument, the desire and a hatred of sin that is built in you as a Christian. One does not tend so much to fear judgment, although fear of God is a healthy thing. I will add to this the idea that the teachings of Christ inspire us to strive to be good, and that Christianity teaches us that if we are in Christ, we will bear good fruit. If one is bringing forth not fruit but thorns, that is evidence that he is not of God. This, and the fact there is no logical reason or anything in the Christian teaching that would cause a Christian to do evil, show that true religion, that is Christianity, is good, not only for the next world, but this world also. If the conquistadors or the crusaders did bad things, a fairly basic study of the Bible and the Christian religion shows that they were not following Christ. So while good acts are a direct consequence of belief in God, the evils so often pointed at are a perversion of religion, normally caused when a large institution such as the Roman Catholic Church wanders far from the true way, as such large institutions do when they are inevitably filled with sinful human beings. These acts are inspired by the sinfulness of man, not God, and can only happen when Christ is ignored. Previously, I showed that you can construct a logical pathway from atheism to bad. In the interest of fairness, I will try to construct a logical pathway to good. 1. I believe there is no God. 2. God cannot be relevant to my actions. 3. Therefore I will do as I see fit. You see, I cannot make a logical pathway from atheism to good works. I have asked other people, and they cannot. Now, I am not saying that atheists cannot take morally good actions, or that atheists have no reason to be good. There are plenty of things you can say about making your short span of years worthy, and of making the world a better place, but these can be made by anyone, whether atheist or not. In fact, every reason to do good that I can think of can be held by believers and non-believers alike, and have that added weight of God's glory in the mind of believers. The problem with atheism is that any argument about what is right and any decision about what course to take becomes entirely subjective. You cannot make a logical pathway to doing good, because the works of an atheist will always rest on that individual's personal judgment of what is right and of the situation. Because atheism removes a truly transcendent standard and effectively leaves people to their own devices, and as most people are inherently more likely to serve their desires at the expense of others and at the expense of good in general, then atheism will leave most people to carry on with bad things. The columnist Peter Hitchens makes the distinction between practicing atheists and intellectual atheists. The intellectual atheists being in general thoughtful professors and popular atheists who actually take the time to properly think about morality. The practicing atheists being those muggers, looters, vandals and gangsters that contribute to the impression that our inner cities are nearly in a state of anarchy, and where the good can barely step out of their doors without being abused, mugged, sworn at, assaulted or generally violated. Those people would not behave that way if they were Christians. Although this video is more about building a positive argument for the virtue of religion, rather than tearing down an argument against it and attacking atheism and atheists, I will draw in a statement of Dawkins. He has said that morally good actions are taken not because of belief, but in spite of it. As a believer, I can state with certainty that this is not the case. I know it in me, and I know it is the same experience in many others. I was not what you would call a bad person before I believed, but I know that I am far more willing to pursue what is right and shun what is wrong since I first believed, and it has always been God who has been on my mind. It has been a desire to not sin against him or do anything that would be contrary to his glory.